The next thing that we will be discussing is what we call the pricing challenge, right? So, like any business, especially in retail, pricing plays an important role in the survival of the business. I mean, the pricing of your products, okay? So, there are several strategies of pricing. Okay, the first strategy is that the supplier sets the prices for his products. Definitely, because you're the one selling your product, right? So the customer now is in what we call a take it or leave it decision. Okay, so the customer has basically no choice there, right? Here's the price, you take it or leave it. You see, in the e-commerce world, uh, when the supplier denotes the pricing of the products, usually this leads to lower prices, and there is what we call a price dispersion. Okay, what is a price dispersion? We'll ask. You might ask. We'll go there in a little while. Now the thing is, here's the thing. The problem for the supplier is this. Okay, for those who are planning to do business, here's the problem that you might encounter. It is easy, listen to this, it is easy to reduce the price, but it is extremely hard to increase the prices. Do you agree? Right? No, mahapos siya magpapanaog because you will see, you'll have lots of customers. Oy, discount. No, they will start buying the product. But the moment magpasaka ka price, that's gonna be an issue. Okay? Just the other day, I think I got into a drive-through in one of the fast foods here in Bacolod, and I saw that one of their meal, one of my favorite meals, has a price increase. Now my wife asked me, "How do you know?" I told her that, wow, the prices have gone up even in this time of pandemic. How would you know? She asked me. I told her, look, they they covered the old price with a new price. So now I'm thinking whether I'm gonna buy that. And guess what? How much was the price increase? It was 5 pesos. Right? And now you're asking yourself, am I gonna buy that or I'm not gonna buy that? So for businesses, I know it's really hard to increase prices. Decreasing prices is no problem. Right? So in e-commerce, usually low prices are a big welcome for consumers, but not for the producers or the suppliers. Okay. Now, going back, you might ask, what is price dispersion? Okay, look at this picture. What do you think are this? Okay, these are what we call repeaters. Now, a repeater, just to give you a quick definition, a repeater is booster for your Wi-Fi signal. For example, if my Wi-Fi signal is too low in one place of the house, I can purchase a repeater so that it can boost the signal, so that it can occupy the signal of my Wi-Fi can occupy the entire house. Okay, so that's a repeater. Okay, anyway, what do you see in this picture? You see same product, same description, same features, okay? But if you look closely, it has different price, right? Why? This is what we call price dispersion. Price dispersion is a variation in prices across different sellers. Now, if you look at these pictures, these are all different sellers, okay, of the same item, holding fixed item characteristics. Okay? Again, price dispersion is a variation in prices across sellers of the same item, holding fixed the item's characteristics. Okay? Now, in the economic theory, there is this law of one price. What is the law of one price? This is an ideal market with identical and total information for every participant demand and supply. Okay? For every participant demand and supply that leads to a unique price for a specific product. In short, ideally, there should only be one price for the same product. Okay? That's the whole thing. There should only be one supply or one price for the same product. So, but that is not how, right, the reality is. Look at the picture. These are the same products. These products have the same feature. They even have the same color. But why do they have different prices? Okay? The reason. Okay? The reason. There are only two reasons. Number one, first of all, suppliers are not interested in ideal markets. Do you agree? They're not interested in ideally, right? This should be the price. No, they don't. They don't even believe in total transparency. They don't even believe in full information for everybody. Okay? What do the suppliers believe in? One word, profit, right? Profit. So they don't believe in the ideal market. There's no such thing as an ideal market. The second reason for dispersion is that the suppliers try to create the impression as if they would offer the unique product or service as well as keeping the competitors on a distance. Now, in layman's terms is this: your suppliers try to create an impression that they are the only ones selling that product with the correct price, right? Unfortunately, there are other sellers who think that way. I'm selling the product with the correct price. Okay? So this is now where price dispersion happens. When everybody starts to believe that they're selling a unique product and that they are selling the least priced product for against their competitors. Okay? So that is price dispersion. Same product with same feature but with different prices. Now you know. Okay? Then what happens? Okay? The second pricing strategy. Okay, the first strategy was what? The seller is the one responsible for giving out the price, right? The second pricing strategy is what we call an auction. Now, what is an auction? Here, we have a horizontal competition among customers. Right? Horizontal. This is not a competition against suppliers, but among customers. The customer who offers the highest amount of money gets the product, right? That's auction. However, there is a difference between real-life auction and digital world auction. There's a difference to that. Later, I will show you in one of the videos. There are different end of auction rules. There are different end of auction rules. Okay, hard ending times and late minute bidding. So there are many kinds of rules actually, sa auction. I myself have not participated in auction. I don't like, competing with others about a product, especially on the price. Okay, so I'm more of a sales type person rather than auction person. Okay, so to give you an idea, this is how auction happens in Google. Okay, let's look at this.
Hi, this is Kyle with St. Louis Digital Media. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how Google's AdWords work. AdWords search ads are the ads you see above or to the right of Google search results. The concept of AdWords is simple. AdWords is an auction where you bid on keywords that are relevant to your business, and AdWords will show your ad when your keywords are searched on Google. Now, you only pay when your ad is clicked and someone visits your website or calls your business. Because AdWords is an auction, it is often assumed that who is ever willing to pay the most will get the top spot. But this is not necessarily true. AdWords uses what is called ad rank to determine where your ad is positioned or even if it will be shown at all. Ad rank consists of three different factors: maximum bid, or how much you would be willing to pay per click; quality score, which consists of many different factors, but in short, is a measurement of how relevant your ad, keyword, and landing page are to the searcher; impact of ad formats and extensions. Ad formats and extensions are enhancements to your ads, such as your business's phone or street address, that increase the chances your ad will be clicked. Now, let's go over an example. Let's say we have 4 different advertisers. First off, we have Bob, who is willing to pay $4 per click, has a low quality score, does not use ad formats and extensions at all, making his ad rank 5. Next up is Jane, who is willing to pay $3 per click, has a high quality score but low format impact, making her ad rank 15. Sue, who is willing to pay $2 per click, but Sue has both a high quality and format impact, bringing her ad rank all the way up to 20. Finally, we have Tom, who's only willing to pay $1 per click, has an average quality and format impact, making his ad rank 8. Now, in this case, Sue is actually going to get the top spot, even though she has a lower bid than both Bob and Jane. Why? Because of her high quality score and format's impact. Jane would stay in the second position, Tom would move up to the third. Now, even though Bob was willing to pay the most, his ad is actually not even going to be shown due to his low ad rank. So let's put this in perspective. A high quality score and format's impact can lower your cost per click, improve your ad's position, decrease your cost per conversion. Do you know what your quality scores are? Are you taking advantage of ad formats and extensions? If you don't know or are unsure, give us a call today for a free AdWords consultation at 314-200-5592. Or you can visit our website at stlouisdigitalmedia.com.
So that's the issue with the auction, right? It's usually for the disadvantage of a customer. In that reason, because auctions run without physical inspection of goods. Now you might say, sir, lain man to kay Google AdWords man to. We're talking about products. Now, Google AdWords is also an auction. Remember that video, right? No matter how high you pay the price, but if Google deems that your product is not in their rankings, then definitely your ads will not appear, even if you're gonna pay high. Okay? Now that's the bad thing, because you really don't know, because you will never know how Google really ranks the services and products, or how they score things. Okay? Maybe others are really paying that much or more. So that's one disadvantage. Now in the real world, or in digital world auction, it's also the same. Sometimes you see the product in the picture, but you cannot physically inspect the goods. Alright? That's why the only thing that is left for the supplier is the reputation of that supplier. Reputation of that supplier is a fundamental prerequisite for the trust of the customer in such transactions. Wala saligay na lang, no? Salig ka na lang, no? Because that's the reputation. That's the thing about auction. Now, the third strategy, which we will not discuss, but you already have an idea, is that the individual negotiates, okay, or the customer negotiates with the supplier. But I think this seldom happens. That's why we will not talk about this anymore. There are only two things that really happen in the digital world when it comes to pricing strategy. One is when the supplier makes the price itself, which leads to what? Price dispersion, right? We talked about that. Or two, auction, which is also a disadvantage to the customer. Why? Because you cannot see the product and inspect it physically, right? So those are the things. Now we go to the fulfillment challenge. How can goods be delivered? Now the first issue here is that real goods cannot be forwarded electronically to the customer. Why? Because they're physical, right? Only what? MP4s and MP3s or PDFs, which are digital in nature, can be forwarded to the customer. Real goods should be delivered to the customer. So in this case, you already need what we call forwarding agencies and tracking companies. Why is that very important? Because you have to understand that if you're producing or selling real goods, physical goods, uh, you need transportation. Now, you'll have to ask yourself, uh, can I afford to have my own forwarding agency or tracking company? Or shall this be forwarded or transferred to a third party company? Can I deliver the goods via drones? How about in areas with very low density of population? Can deliveries be made there? No? So, are there services available there? And how much is short-term delivery costs? Or is it a competitive advantage? No? So, these are very important things that you need to ask yourself, no, if you become a supplier or a producer. This another issue is international transportation. The one that we're talking just now is the local transportation, right, within the locality. But what happens now if I intend to sell my products abroad? Okay, what if I sell my items international? Okay, so now there's an issue on international transportation, transshipping issues. Okay, plane, train, ship, truck, from the international perspective. Why pa na di madala ang piracy, not piracy nga downloading, piracy kaya it's pirates that hijack or seajack your boats or your ships or transportation. Then there's theft that happened probably in the airport, okay, or along the way during transport. Okay, you have to consider that. In addition, there is also a lot of tax and custom requirements that have to be observed. Now, to another issue here is when you export to a foreign country, they may raise a problem of what we call a dual-use goods. Now, you ask, what is a dual-use goods? Dual-use goods are products and technologies normally used for civilian purposes, but which may have military applications. Again, dual goods are products and technologies normally used for civilian purposes but may have military applications. Okay, so dual goods. That's gonna be an issue as well. So, how are goods being delivered? Real goods are being delivered. So you have to consider some questions. Okay? If you look at your screen, these are the things that you need to consider. First, is the customer at home? Or if the customer is at home, can they take over the delivered products? Is there an alternative delivery point defined in the order? Okay? Can the supplier deliver to a neighbor? So, wala tao sa balay, so can I just leave it at the neighbor? Does the customer want this? Can the supplier trust in the neighbor? How can the delivery be proved if the neighbor signs? Okay, paano na yan? Mag-complain ang customer, wala akong nabaton. Pero may ara ka na proof, for example, nga, nag-sign ang neighbor, and the neighbor says, wala ko yung nagbaton. Okay. So, what can the supplier do if the customer declares that he or she never got the shipment? So these are very important questions from your perspective. The next question, where the supplier has to find an answer, is this. Should the supplier do everything to avoid transportation damages? What are the packaging requirements? Who takes the risk of transportation damages? Will the customer pay for transportation? Again, we're talking about we are actually involving third party na ang imong shipping companies, no? So question number 1, should the supplier do everything to avoid transportation damage? Okay, how will they pack the items? Sino ma-pack properly the requirements? Si supplier bala or si shipping company? Okay, then who takes the risk, no? And will the customer pay for the transportation? Again, let's go back to our first statement earlier. Customers hate paying for additional prices, okay, or additional fees. They don't like that. So those are the questions that you need to answer. The next topic is all about B2C business and customer relations management. Now, customer relation management, or CRM, aims at tracking and analyzing all the interactions of the firm with the customer to optimize sales volume, customer effectiveness, customer satisfaction, and customer loyalty. In short, CRM is basically how you take care of your customer, right? At the same time, earning income for the company. Now, CRM integrates all customer-oriented processes. Again, the CRM is very customer-oriented as it considers the customer as a strategic asset. Remember, a regular customer is the most profitable customer. Again, a regular customer is a profitable customer. It means that if the customer keeps coming back, you are assured of income. Okay? So the process owner of the CRM is the supplier itself. Okay? Because he is the one responsible for monitoring customer activities. Okay? In CRM, there is no focus on single transaction, but actually on customer activities in general. So, what are the typical life cycle of a CRM process? This is from the customer's perspective. Okay? So, there's the reach. Okay? Then acquisition, conversion, retention, and loyalty. How is reach done? Through marketing. Okay? So when the customer becomes aware of the product, then you have done your homework in effective marketing. The next is when the customer starts to buy the product. Now you have sales. And eventually, if you perform customer service, that would make sure that your customer will be retained and they will become loyal. Okay, and the cycle repeats. The CRM process is what we call a concept in action. It is where the steps, if you look at this diagram, this is where the steps that an organization must take to help drive consumer through the cycle of learning, right? Marketing about your brand, through sales, and eventually becoming a loyal, or what we call repeat customer. Okay, so this is the CRM from the customer point of view. Now, here is the CRM process from both the management and the customer at the same time. Okay, so on the left, this is the customer life cycle. Okay, so there's reach, there's acquisition, there's conversion, there's retention and loyalty. On the right, this is the CRM process itself. Okay, so still the same process, but the contents are now quite different. For example, from the perspective of the seller, for the seller to be able to market and to reach the customer on the left, okay, because we have said earlier, marketing should play a role. They should generate brand awareness. That's reaching. Okay, reaching out to the customer is creating brand awareness. Then for acquisition, so that the customer will start selling it, the company or the seller should acquire leads. When we talk about acquiring leads, okay, when we talk about acquiring leads, it's basically knowing your clientele, knowing your customers. Okay, for the customer to buy, okay, to be converted, is you convert the leads into customers. Okay, so who are my customers? Where can I find them? Okay, then I will convert those leads, okay, into real customers. I'll go to where the customers are. And then what? For my customers to be retained, I have to make sure I provide superior support. Okay? And then eventually, for them to be loyal, okay, I need to drive upsell and referrals, which means I need to double time in making sure that my customers are happy. Okay, according to the customer life cycle, we know that the first step in the CRM is maximizing reach, and it can only be done with leads. Okay? In practice, reach is using your CRM to generate brand awareness through targeted marketing campaigns. Okay? So that's how it is done. Every stage in the customer life cycle corresponds with an actionable step in the CRM process. Again, they go together. Okay? That's why ang ilang process are the same. 5 for the customer life cycle, 5 for the CRM process because they go together. Okay, example na lang. Let me try. For them, example lang 1, reach. For me to reach my customer, okay, I need to, on my side as a marketer or a supplier, I need to generate brand awareness. You get this? You need to generate brand awareness. For my customer to be loyal, that's the last part of the cycle, I have to keep on driving upsell and referrals, okay, and support in that matter. Okay, the key to both of this is knowing that those steps, or what those steps are, and how to execute them. I repeat, the key to knowing the customer life cycle and the CRM process is to know what those steps are and how to execute them. Then let's talk about business to consumer software system. Online shop. An online shop is characterized by one supplier and an end customer. One supplier, multiple customers. Process and software are under the control of the supplier, right? So it's all under the supplier. So your online shop has what we call a shop system. Okay, they have subsystems or components. Okay, they have these subsystems or components of a shop system. What are these? So we have sign on function. Okay, so they need to sign up, they need to sign in. Then there's presentation of goods. Then the shop should be able to handle ordering. The shop should be able to handle payment. The shop should be able to handle delivery, and the shop should have what we call a search engine. Okay, so those are the important things. Now let me show you an example. This is the project I'm working on right now. Okay, I'm doing an e-commerce site for a friend. Okay, so using the online shop system requirements. Okay, let me show you where are they. Okay, sign up function. It's there. Okay, so that actually reads my accounts. Okay, so that is where the customer will. Oh, by the way, this is an online mall. Okay, it's an online mall, mini mall, I think. Okay, so there should be a sign up function. Then where's the presentation of goods? Can you show? Can you point on your screen? Yep, these are the goods. Okay, so when I click on that item, it will show me the description of that goods, okay, and how much it will cost me. For the search engine, there it is. There's a search box over there. Okay, so 3 out of 3 so far. Then When we talk about ordering functions, okay, there's the shopping cart at the top. There's the shopping cart breakdown on the left, and there's the shopping cart content below. Okay, so you see it there. How many did I put in my shopping cart? Okay. Then the next question is, what would you want to do next? Those are the contents of your shopping cart. Okay. So there's also the payment and delivery function. Okay, so I did this step by step so that the customer will know what they're doing. Okay, so step one, checkout options. Checkout options is actually checking out your products, assuming that you already completed your shopping experience. The billing details at step number two is information about the customer. Remember, as we have said earlier, the customer should be able to give information so we will know who we are dealing with. Then there's the delivery details, where to be delivered. Step number four is the delivery method. Okay, so and step number five is the payment, whether it's going to be bank transfer or cash on delivery. Okay, so it's there. Still part of the payment and delivery function, right? So there's the payment method: cash on delivery, bank transfer. Okay. For let me go back. For my delivery method, look at that. There are three options for the client to choose. Whether it is within the vicinity of, for example, Barangay Estefania, within Bacolod, there's a service charge or delivery charge. Within Negros Occidental, there's also a delivery charge. Now, the store that we are developing does not cater outside of Negros Occidental. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, so here's the payment and delivery functions. So then banner management. Okay, so banner management is when you promote your items on your product. And then there's the recommendation. The banner management is the one at the top with the logo of the shop. Okay, and then the one below, which contains the suppliers, okay, the manufacturers of the brands that I carry. And the one in the middle is the recommendation engine. Okay, for example, what are the latest products? We are also designing the page wherein the page will recommend sailed items. Okay, sailed items. So we're gonna be putting it there as well. So there you have it, your e-commerce side. So your online e-commerce store typically will look like this. It's composed of three parts. The front end, which is your website. These are for customers, for online sales, for product offers, for discount coupons. Okay? The one in the middle is the nitty-gritty function of your online e-commerce store. Okay? And what is that? That includes your product management, your storefront management, your marketing campaign, your online sales and payment gateways, your logistics, delivery management, and customer information. Right? So all of those happen within that website. Okay. Hopefully someday when this is all over, I can show you really the entire project that I'm doing on e-commerce, so that you will have an idea how it is done. But for now, I can only show you the picture of what really happens inside. And the back end, when we talk about the back end, the one responsible for managing all of this data that happens, that runs to and fro your e-commerce store, okay, is what we call the website back end. This back end handles all the database, all the data, all the records, all the orders, and the management of information for delivery from order to fulfillment. Okay, so that's it. that is our topic on B2C. So thank you um, for your time. Okay, if you have questions, feel free to ask me.